and I would go back to sleep, and it was like I was so tired. I had no strength, nothing. I couldn't think. People would say things to me, and the words would just float right by, and I would think, wonder what that was about. And that was all the further I'd go with it.
Yes.
I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to take care of myself. I couldn't turn over in bed. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't certainly get out of bed. I couldn't walk. My body was non-functional physically. I couldn't do anything. Finally, they took me out of ICU. The only thing I had, they put me back on oxygen because of my breathing. I'm not even, well, they didn't give me any medications that time orally. I couldn't take them. But anyhow, they put me in a regular room, and I was there for, they told me, about a week, and I began to be able to hear a little better what they were saying. I couldn't see right. I couldn't read this way. But if somebody made a list, I could read it this way.
Up and down.
There were too many words, and they went together too fast. But this way, they were separate words.
Okay.
I could read them, but I couldn't retain them. It was very interesting. I knew I was brain damaged, but I didn't want to be, but I didn't know what to do about it, or if I could do anything about it. So anyhow, they decided to send me to a rehab center in Vero Beach, Florida. I had been in the West Palm Cardiac Institute in West Palm, Florida.
Now, one thing you said inside that you didn't say on the TV is that you actually had a stroke also.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so people understand why you weren't thinking.
Right. It affected my right side, and how much it affected my brain, nobody could tell by then.
Yes.
So anyhow, thank you for reminding me that. Anyhow, I was sent to the rehab center, and there I lay. I still couldn't do anything. I went to pull the sheets up one time, and I looked down, and I thought, oh, good grief. It's nothing but skin and bones. I weighed 95 pounds, 17% of a functioning heart muscle. I couldn't do anything. There was no hope ever given to me. They just treated me like an invalid. And yet, here's one remark they kept making. Now, don't act like an invalid. Don't just get that feeling that you're an invalid. Come on, you're gonna this and that. And I couldn't do anything. I was an invalid. But they were doing what they do. And they gave me all kinds of tests and so on. But one thing happened in the rehab. One night they got me ready for bed, and I just laid back and started to go to sleep. And all of a sudden, this great, horrible fear came upon me. It just surrounded me. I didn't know anything else but total, horrible fear. And I had no clue what that was. And it didn't last very long. That first time, it just came and it went. And then it was gone, and so I went to sleep. I got up the next day, and it hadn't impressed me that much. My brain wasn't functioning, and that was a good thing. It wasn't functioning properly at that time. I'd have probably worried about it. But this kept happening night after night, just as I would go to sleep. And one night, after several nights it had happened, one night it started again. But this time it lasted all night. It never stopped.
And that was a panic attack?
A panic attack. They had explained to me what it was. I didn't understand it. I didn't grasp all the meanings, but I had a name for it.
Yes.
Anyhow, this one started, and they tried everything with me to break it. And there was nothing they could do. They even had me lean me forward, my tray table this way on the side of my bed, and lean me over it, laid my top half over it, and rubbed my shoulders, rubbed my back, rubbed my head. Nurses talked to me all night long. Different nurses would come in, and there was always a nurse with me. And nothing helped. And I was sweat, and I knew that I was sweating, and I was exhausted, and I couldn't do anything. Finally, daylight started, and the panic attack left. And I was just a pile of nothing. And they got me back in bed, and the nurse cleaned me up, and she said, honey, you just go to sleep and you sleep.